Good morning, YouTube. Model 119 buck knife. Well, I picked this up the other day from pawn shop, and it's in like absolutely unused condition. Um, Whoever had it bought it, and I don't know, but definitely an authentic buck knife too. So we know there are fakes out there. So I did some thorough research on this, and turns out it's the real deal. So that's awesome. And it only cost me $69 Canadian, so that's not too shabby. Now, the blade was a little on the dull side. Almost felt like it wasn't sharpened or sharpened properly at the factory. Anyways, I have since put an edge on it, and it's good. It's made out of 420 high carbon steel, all right? I looked a little bit into the history of buck knives, and I thought, oh, well, that's kind of interesting how they started things out. And anyways, and of course, they've switched their metals at least twice. And so this one is the 420 HC or high carbon, and comes in a leather sheath, as you see. Okay, and it's got the buck embossed on here, and the model number is also here on the back, the buck signature tag. You can also tell fakes too because the cases aren't the same either. But also, dead giveaway is also in here as well. Many other features that are giveaways that they're fakes. But anyways, and if you look at the Buck Made in USA tag as well, and they've got some other stuff here that I have no idea what it is, but I can't see that great even with my glasses. But the model 119 is also on there. They have a few different models. They also have a Skinner knife as well. I was looking for a hunting knife, a better one than my fake K-bar, okay? Nothing wrong with the K-bar. It holds an edge extremely well, extremely durable knife. I whipped it into trees like other YouTubers have, and I have received no damage to the knife whatsoever. So the fake K-bar is actually a pretty damn good deal for, I think it was like, what, 50 bucks or something I paid for that thing. It's on my channel, and I still got it. But I've always looked at buck knives, and ever since I seen the style of this knife, it's always attracted me, okay? And this has been going on for, I don't know, a couple decades at least anyways, that I've really liked buck knives. But I never bought one because, well, it's a hunting knife, and I was never into hunting. I just started hunting for the first time in my life last year. A little late to be in your 50s and start hunting. Maybe not, but you know, I still got some energy left yet. Anyways, but I saw this and I thought, well, for $69, I took a look at it, examined it thoroughly, and it's like perfect condition. Why not? Now, they average anywhere from, could be $100, could be $120. I've seen them as high as $140 for this exact model. Okay, depending where you go on the internet, where you're shopping in your local area where you shop. Okay, but the average out is about 119 Canadian, which is actually pretty good. All right, just that I didn't feel like spending 119 bucks. I'm kind of a bit of a cheapskate like many of you guys and girls are. And besides which, you can always find really good deals at times at pawn shops and save money and get something that's basically brand new, right? So I don't even think the guy even wore the thing on his belt even once. I mean, it's just impeccable condition. So who am I to complain, right? Now, in looking into buck knives on the internet over the last while, I also have discovered Buck has had a few issues apparently with some of their knives, and that's mainly been in how straight this is, and it needs to be straight across. So I did actually test that out to ensure that there was no curvature in the blade, so no kind of like curvature where it would be a problem sharpening it, etc. Because any blade that has a curve to it, or especially an inward dip, you know, going out is normal, but going the opposite way is not a good thing. It makes it very difficult to sharpen, and this is supposed to be straight across in here, no hovels, and this thing is like dead perfect. So got one of the good ones again, so really nice score. Fits nice in the hand, really like it. Now, these are not like an anti-slip handle, okay? Just keep that in mind, all right? I mean, it's not an anti-slip grip or anything. This is a quality built knife, like really high quality. You know, especially for the money. I mean, how do you go wrong, right? And being that Buck has traditionally built probably some of the best hunting knives out there, and their prices aren't extravagant, okay? They're not exotic priced. I've seen some pretty expensive knives, and I'm like, you gotta be an idiot for spending $6,000 on a knife. Like, come on, what the hell is it made out of? You know, is it gonna do the dishes? Is it gonna cook my food for me? It darn well better for that kind of money, because I just can't justify that kind of money out on a knife, especially for even just general hunting or even camping even. You don't need to spend that kind of money, right? So, unless that's the kind of person you are. But anyways, so I'm not going to be throwing this into trees, doing durability tests. I'm not going to be doing any of that sort of thing, okay? What I can tell you is when it comes to high carbon steel, it's a much better quality steel than, say, stainless, okay? Stainless steel is fine. It's not technically stainless. It can still stain, rust, corrode, and evaporate over time, especially in saltwater conditions. Stainless steel does not do very well, but it does better than a high carbon steel would, which would just disintegrate out at sea. So it's nice to have the stainless stuff. It will last a lot longer, especially when you look at boats, for example. This is the best example I can give you with steel. Boats tend to use, you know, those rope, I don't remember the name of them, but they're kind of like a little T-shape and you put the rope around, okay, those things. Those are very common on boats, okay? And one of the problems being out at sea in salt water is it will destroy a lot of different steels very easily, okay? But stainless steel, not so easy. It still will, but it will take a much, much longer time, okay, before that actually happens. So they don't have to worry about changing them very often, right? So stainless steel has a benefit that way, but stainless steel doesn't hold an edge when it comes to knives very well. You're constantly, always resharpening the knife. It will not hold an edge very well with stainless steel. So, but when it comes to the high carbon stuff, that's another story, okay? High carbon steel, that is really strong, tough, durable steel, holds an edge for an awfully long time, so you're not always constantly sharpening your knife. You know, basically you sharpen it once, get a nice perfect bevel in there, perfect razor edge on it, and it's going to hold for a long time before you need to even worry about it again, okay? And that is one nice thing about high carbon. So really appreciate Buck for switching over to even the 420 HC or high carbon steel, because it does make the knife way, way better, okay? So big pluses there. Anyway, I can't complain for the price, but I'm not going to let the price dictate the review in any way, shape, or form, because, well, if I paid retail for it, it would end up being the same in the end regardless, okay? Now, the only thing that does disappoint me in the knife market, period, especially a company like Buck that is worldwide known, okay, it's, what about left-handed people here? Now, the knife is universal itself, left or right-handed, but the sheath is not. And I am a lefty by nature, okay, by birth, by genetics. And I really would appreciate a case or a sheath that would be offered in left-handed. And I have yet to ever see a Buck knife on any shelf that actually has a left-handed case. So I don't even know if they would even do a custom case. I haven't really looked that far into even Buck themselves for that, but a left-handed case would be nice if I could get one, okay? Not that there's anything wrong with right-handed cases, but I'm a lefty. That's just the way it is. Even my K-bar knife, my K-bar is right-handed, and it's got a different kind of a latch on it, which is fine, but I do find that with this, I wear it on my left side. Now, I can take it out. It's a little awkward, but I can take it out like this and put it in my left hand proper orientation. When I go to put it back, I have to remember to go down this way. Because, like I said, even this is a right-handed case. So, but it doesn't lose much for that problematic part of life when it comes to our buck knife here, okay? Nothing is perfect, though. Just keep that in mind. But if you're looking at buck knives before you go to the counter and pay for it, usually most stores have like a glass surface type top, or even if it's not glass, it has to be flat. And what you want to do to check your knife out against a flat surface is put it on that flat surface and look for any kind of daylight underneath the blade between here and here. Okay, so right where it starts to curve up, that should be flat. If it's curved kind of like this way, okay, then that's a knife to say no thank you, let's grab another one, okay, especially when it comes to these. All right, but any knife that's supposed to have flatness across here, you want to make sure that that's flat, okay? You definitely want to make sure that. If you could even hold up to the edge of something if you can get it right, and check that too. And this one is absolutely fine and perfect. Nothing wrong with that. So it'll sharpen on a stone really easily, okay? And any other sharpener that is designed for sharpening a knife, okay? But that's about what I want to cover on that one. So where do we put this thing? Well, I don't care that I had to put an edge on it. Maybe the guy just bought it that way. Maybe he used it and didn't resharpen it. So maybe he did use it a couple of times. Hard to say, but there wasn't even a scratch or indication of scratches even on the blade anywhere. So I doubt it was used. So I'm thinking from the factory, it just kind of came with a bit of a dull edge to it. And that can happen. But at least we still got a well-made, properly made blade in the end, regardless. Okay? So I don't really care about sharpening. Besides, I sharpen all my knives. I don't trust any sharpening process from any factory. There's no point to it because they're not going to be razor edged. Unless you're paying that kind of money for a knife that does actually have that kind of a backing. But, big bucks, baby. And I ain't spending it because I ain't got it anyways. But this'll more than do. This'll last me forever. Okay, I could hand this down to my kid. He could hand it down to his kids and probably a few more to boot. I know my old man, he had a hunting knife for years. It finally did die one day though, but he had it for years and years and years and years and years and years. And it was pretty high end for its time back then, and high carbon steel at that. And that thing got an edge on it. It didn't come off too easily. It was a good knife, but it finally did die one day. And it's actually the leather binding on the handle. His had a similar pattern to this, and it's just stacked, eh? So one day it just finally said enough is enough, right? Something gets to be, as old as dirt. Well, that's the way it goes. So I'd rate the knife at 4 out of 5. That's kind of where I'm at it. You can pick them up anywhere, Canada, USA, wherever buck knives are sold. Check them out in your local area, and but do make sure you check those things out thoroughly before you pay for it, just in case you do get a defective buck knife. But also before even buying a buck knife, get yourself familiar with spotting a fake from a real buck knife, okay? This way you don't get screwed even at a pawn shop, because that can definitely happen. At least where I bought my K-bar, the guy told me right up front, that is a fake K-bar. And it's like, yeah, but right now the fakes are proven to be better than the real ones, which are like 4 times the money. So it's kind of really sad that the fake copies are actually doing better. But anyway, that's it. See ya.